See, let's take a step back. What has gone so wrong for the Raiders this season?
Well, I know something changed since the press conference, because John Gruden, when they hired him as head coach, all the excitement that he had that day for Raider Nation and everything, something happened, because he didn't tell us that day that they had a long way to go. No. He didn't tell us that day that they were rebuilding. So if they're rebuilding all of a sudden, has his opinion changed? Does he have his franchise quarterback? Because I don't know a team that has their franchise quarterback and they're also rebuilding. All right, you can say, okay, well, they got Josh Allen in Buffalo. We don't know if they got their franchise quarterback.
And he's a rookie.
We do know they're rebuilding them.
Yes.
So typically when teams have their quarterback, the rebuilding process has already started because you have the #1 piece that it takes. So for me, they got a lot of question marks in Oakland, not only as far as that roster, but for me, I know John Gruden well enough to know football ain't real fun. In that announcing booth, don't nobody win or lose. You go home winning every day. Man, you cash that check. Hey, didn't win, didn't lose. Did nobody blame me? Also, you leave the TV booth, people think you know a lot about football. You leave London, John Gruden couldn't be feeling about his football team moving forward, what they're going to do the rest of the season. So for me, I believe this is just the beginning. I believe it's going to get worse in Oakland before it gets better.
Listen, I think people are starting to now see what I was talking about before the year, which is I've been skeptical of Derek Carr. I know he had the year, he broke his leg, he could have won the MVP. Even then, he was a dinker and dunker. Yesterday, how many times did he throw that ball? 31 times for 140 yards? What's that, 4 yards per attempt? John Gruden, I think, from the TV booth, thought, well, they got a franchise quarterback in Oakland. They got a quarterback to be the best quarterback I've ever had.
John Gruden said, you're the reason why I unretired.
Yes.
Now, something happened between that press conference and what he said yesterday from London.
I'll tell you what happened. He went to OTAs, he went to minicamp, he went to training camp, and he realized, oh, no.
Not that
in a league where it's never been more important to throw the ball and throw the ball downfield and to score, we have a limited quarterback who is paid like he's not a limited quarterback, and that only matters because of how it restricts you otherwise. And that's what made him pivot. That, I believe, to this day, is what necessitated the Khalil Mack trade. Because part of the thing on the Khalil Mack trade we said was, well, they've already earmarked this money for Amari Cooper. So you can't have Carr, Cooper, and Mack, but it looks like Cooper's on the block, too. So it's what necessitated the Khalil Mack trade. You get extra picks to be able to draft a quarterback. It's one of the reasons why I think Amari Cooper's now available. They are doing a full teardown in Oakland. They are going to be up and running by 2020. That is the hope. That is when they move into Las Vegas. At that point, they will have both those first-round picks from the Khalil Mack trade. I believe they'll have a new quarterback, and I believe by then there might be one player left that Reggie McKenzie drafted. Because we already know they cut a couple full draft classes. Like, they are clearly moving on from an era, and Gruden's just going to have to eat it in the meantime. I think this is, while they don't want to be 1-5, this is his plan. It's just going to be tough PR until they show any type of results.
Tough plan. All right, let's move on to the Cowboys. They picked an interesting opponent with which to show off the offense we thought they didn't have. Taking on the Jaguars first quarter, Dak Prescott with a chunk of his career-high 82 rushing yards. Not bad. Second quarter, Dak to Cole Beasley. Beasley's first touchdown of the year. Dallas goes up 17-0 in the fourth now. Zeke gets a rushing touchdown of his own, 15 of 106 yards there. Cowboys all over Blake Bortles and the Jags. 40-7 was the final. Cowboys now 3-3. Multiple fist pumps out of Dak Prescott. Here's Dak after the game.
We haven't questioned anything inside. We leave the questioning to y'all. We've known from I've told y'all from after the first week or second week that we weren't doing as well or performing to our standards, that we're 1, 2, 3 plays away. The difference was the night we made those plays, and we still missed a deep ball here, missed a play there that just allows this offense to be that more explosive. So, I mean, we know what we have, we know what we've got, so it's important us to just stick together, stay confident, and know the team that we have, and it was great to go out there and put on display.
This, for me, was my surprise of the weekend. There's no way I would have predicted, especially against this Jaguars defense, the Cowboys, who hadn't done much, suddenly put it all together, seemingly, on offense. Did this surprise you, this outcome?
You had to be surprised by the overall score. You can't be surprised Dallas would win the game because you knew Dallas's defense would match up well with the Blake Bortles, no Leonard Fournette offense. Like, how are they going to be able to move the football? So, as far as Dallas and how they dominated the game from the offensive line standpoint against Jacksonville's front, that was the most surprising thing. I think Dallas's staff did a good job of making some adjustments, and they had more design runs by Dak in this game than any game they had this season. And also, you could see that they're starting to understand we can't throw the ball down the field. So how they get creative? They got creative by moving the pocket and creating some runs for Dak. They didn't get creative by trying to throw the ball down the field, creating new pass plays. No. Jacksonville dropped a couple coverages. Dallas took advantage of it, throwing it short. Cole Beasley on one of those, they dropped the coverage. He scores the touchdown. So I was surprised that Jacksonville didn't put up the type of fight that they put up and the fight that I've seen out of this group since they've been together the last couple years.
I got an idea on what I think happened to Jacksonville fight-wise, but before that, like, I don't want people to be confused by the final score here. Like, if you're a Cowboys fan, you should be thrilled. It's a huge win. It's a dominating win. It's a win that you were able to fully enjoy, not a nerve-wracking one like the game against the Giants. I mean, you're up 24-0 at halftime. The game's over. The game was basically over midway through the second quarter. But usually when a team scores 40 points, I mean, Chiefs scored 40 last night. Patriots scored 43 through the air. Cowboys threw for 183 yards yesterday. Outside of Cole Beasley, they had 8 catches for 82 yards. All the issues we've said they have on the outside with their wide receiver are still there. They had the gaudy numbers because Jacksonville was totally inept on offense. Cowboys average starting field position was about their own 40, which means they got short fields the entire game. And Dak was outstanding on the ground, nearly doubling his career high rushing in this game. And Zeke was Zeke. But for the Jags, it feels to me like this Jacksonville team gets down 2 scores. They know that defense knows the offense isn't going to be able to come back. They feel like if we don't score a defensive touchdown, we're sunk. And they don't play with the same intensity. They don't play with the same energy if they're down big early because they know Blake Bortles their quarterback.
Yeah, they're challenged. You can see the conflict between the team. I've seen it in teams before. Baltimore. Now, they had great leadership under Ray Lewis, so it allowed them to be a defensive dominant team for a number of years. And that struggle and conflict they had with the offense, it was resolved because of Ray Lewis's defense and his overall leadership. That even though the quarterback might throw interceptions, turn the ball over, they never lost their enthusiasm. And that's what I saw in yesterday's game with Jacksonville. They didn't have the enthusiasm to play the type of defense that championship teams have to play.
What was the difference for Dak Prescott yesterday? Was it the fact that he did run the ball more? Was it more aggressive play calling? Was it more creative play calling?
It was more creative as far as the run game. They did move the pocket a couple times, but let's not get confused with the score and what the numbers were. They did not have this phenomenal offensive output. They dominated that offensive line. They controlled the game. Field position is a critical thing in a game like this because Dallas basically, they get 2 first downs. They're in scoring position. When you start the 38-yard line, 40-yard line, that's all. It was an ugly game like that always kind of leaned in Dallas's favor. Now, Dallas's defense played amazing. They ran all over the place. Jalen Smith looks like, man, he looks like the kid, first-team All-American from Notre Dame before he hurt his foot, before he hurt his knee.
And the Cowboys had the ball the whole game. I mean, they had the ball for 39 minutes. It's the shortest time of possession the Jags have had since Blake Bortles' rookie season back in 2014. But for the Cowboys, if Cowboys fans want me to take them seriously as an NFC East contender, forget an NFC contender, I need to see them take this show on the road. This year, they are 3-0 at home. They're averaging nearly 28 points a game, or more than 28 points per game at home. On the road, 0-3, averaging, what, 13, 12.5 points a game. Go get a good road win back-to-back games, and then I'll start saying, okay, even in 2018, dominant running game, dominant defense, that can be a path to victory. Right now, I'm skeptical, to be honest, of both of these teams because it feels like they're